SummerSlam did not disappoint. Aiden, you were there. We talked about that. What was just one word? What would you wrap up SummerSlam?
Yeah. Yeah.
No pukesters helping me to the left, and no pukesters helping me to the right. Didn't need them then, don't need them now.
You are the ex-champion, Olin.
Now this is the way, Tony and David, that you do the figure 4 leg lock.
Pop Out Aiden is in the building. Aiden, I named you Pop Out Aiden because I feel like you just pop out of nowhere. Like,
Oh yeah.
you be so like low key about stuff, and then all of a sudden I'm looking on your feed. I'm like, this dude just chilling with Westside Gun. Just like,
Yeah, just him and Benny. Just him and Benny the Butcher. No big deal.
How
Yeah,
it's got to be sometimes.
no biggie. I'm Dre Rocka. I'm coming at you live from Cousin Tyrone's basement.
Yep, Will Wonder here in Gunther's palace, his guest room. My King Gunther, the champion. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. But man, we got a lot to talk about, Dre.
And
a
I'm
lot
Aiden.
a lot to unpack. Aiden is a friend of the show, somebody that you're probably familiar with. If you've seen my face, you've seen him on the WrestleMania preview show that Wonder was he couldn't attend.
I was dead. I was dead for essentially. Yeah.
But Aiden did join that show, so he has a lot of background in the love for wrestling, and he also attended SummerSlam. So we're gonna have the live perspective of somebody feet on the ground in Ohio, the whole festivities, the whole weekend. We're gonna have his perspective coming up here shortly in the show, so stick around. Aiden, let's hear a little bit about you. Wonder, you had some questions?
Yeah, we got some questions for you, Aiden. Just so the wrestling fans who listen to this podcast can get to know you if they didn't watch the WrestleMania pod. So we're gonna start off like this. When did you first start watching wrestling?
I would say around like 5, 6 years old. My dad was always big into it. And like there was always action figures and stuff around the house, but I like kind of came across it myself. Like and then he was like, "Oh, you're into that." And then he kind of showed me he showed me Iron Man match, Brett and Shawn. He showed me all the classic moments. And then I just kind of like started to get more and more into it as I grew up, and I never like fell out of it.
That's awesome. You have a great teacher in your pops to teach you
Yep.
about wrestling. I'll tell you what.
You talked about falling out of it. You never fell out of love with it. So you've been following so many storylines. You know so many different athletes from different organizations. But overall, like, who would you put on your Mount Rushmore?
Personal favorites, or as far as
Give us both.
Like,
Yeah, let's go.
okay.
Let's go both.
Okay.
I
Up
like
a little
hearing
bit.
that.
I'll go as far as like impact, as far as, you know, just general. I'll go Cena, Triple H. You got to go Hogan, even though I wouldn't agree with it. and that fourth one, there's like a bunch, but I'll go Taker just to keep it short. And then for personal favorites, I'm gonna go Shawn Michaels, Triple H, but separately. I never really I love when they're together, but I like heel Triple H, denim jacket, and then I like their feuds against each other, honestly, more than like their work together.
Okay. Okay.
And then I'll go Kenny Omega.
Ooh.
And probably Bray Wyatt. Probably Bray Wyatt. He's the one who really like sparked my love for like just characters was Bray. There was a lot. There was like a good period of time where we were going to like pay-per-views and stuff a lot, and it was right at the peak of like Bray with Randy. Right when like the Bludgeon Brothers kind of left off and went alone.
Yeah.
But Bray for sure had like a crazy impact.
Man, this is off the questions, but I remember I was at a house show, and you, your brother, and your dad were sitting in front of me here in Salt Lake. I don't remember the year. It was probably like 2014, maybe 15. But Roman Reigns had come down. It was when the Shield used to come out of the crowd, right? So
Yeah.
Roman's walking down, and I'm filming him come down, and then he turns, and I don't know if it was you or your brother, but he taps one of your heads.
Yeah, he rubbed me on the head.
Yeah. Man,
Yeah.
it's just a trip that that time flies that fast. I'll just
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
But I'm right there with you with Bray. One of my favorites for sure.
Yeah.
All right,
sure.
last question. If you could be a pro wrestler, what would your gimmick be?
Okay. So I, was informed about the outline and I put a lot of thought into it. And I was thinking one, but I kind of scrapped it because like with how the world is today, like it could get pushy. I was thinking like a politician who's like super one-sided. So they're like, they're against certain like ideas that people have. But I kind of came to the conclusion, if you watch NXT, there's a dude on there I like. His name's Tony D'Angelo. And I'm thinking like a super like over mafia gimmick. And kind of similar to how the Bloodline was, where like someone's getting involved, but like a referee's always on payroll.
Yeah.
A cameraman's always doing something that's just like that they always got their hand in it. Just a super over mafia gimmick. You got like 3 dudes, and then you always have like moving pieces in the background.
Yeah, I love that. Impossible to beat.
Yeah.
I don't follow NXT too much. When I catch it, I catch it. Is that the Italian dude that has the DJ?
Yeah.
It's so dope.
He's cool. Yeah, Tony D'Angelo.
Nice.
Awesome, women. It's now the audience, you guys got to know Aiden a little bit. What I would like to do is I would like to shift over to SummerSlam. It happened over the weekend. I wonder, you watched it live. Aiden, you watched it live.
Yeah.
I had to watch it not live because I had a gig, but me and the family, we stayed up until 3 a.m.
Damn.
Yeah, 3 a.m. and then woke up Sunday morning and the family went swimming and I had a birthday party. But let's start off with, I wonder, do you mind if we give our guest kind of the first lead way into this thing?
Oh, of course. I mean, he was there. I'd love to hear what his experience was like.
So pop out, Aiden, staying true to the name. Your father let us know that this was a graduation gift. Also, congratulations for graduating and acknowledging the tribal chief.
Always.
Why was this your gift? Why was this the one that you were like, that's what I want for my graduation gift?
Just wrestling, like the last 2 years has really been like at its all-time high. So like to kind of be like in like a weirder spot in life, like during COVID and like before that, just like not really having like a grasp at things and wrestling not being as good. Say like there was good moments, but like a lot of that like 2019, 2020 wrestling just like it just wasn't there. So wrestling being at its high and like I'll always have love for wrestling. I just was like, how the year's been playing out, I was like, that's what I want to go to. Like that's what needs to happen. Like, and this was, I kind of decided like after WrestleMania, so like nothing on the card was confirmed. There was just like little tosses up of what was happening, but that's kind of what I came to. That's what I wanted to go to.
Where does this and we'll get into the card itself, but where does this fit? I mean, you've been to a lot of pay-per-views, you've been to a lot of shows. Where does this fit in the rankings of everything you've been to?
It definitely fits up there. The WrestleMania in New Orleans and Orlando, I think it's 33 and 34. Those were my first 2 WrestleManias that I've ever been to. But this was definitely up there just because of this, like the whole atmosphere, the whole trip. I would say it's in my top 3 live events that I've been to.
We got to get our numbers up, Dre.
Yeah,
man, I'm over here trying to figure out how to get to SmackDown.
You need to graduate from something, Dre, so your wife gets you a goddamn gift. Okay, my wife took me to WrestleMania last year when I graduated college. You gotta graduate something, Dre.
I gotta do something with my life.
Yeah,
I love it. So you get into Ohio. What's the first thing did you guys go to any like signings or anything like that?
We didn't go to any. They had like stuff at the Superstore, but we didn't go to that because we got there Friday like evening, and we had the concert that night. We went to the West Side Gun concert that night.
Heels Have Eyes.
Yep, Heels Have Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
We went to that, and then the show was Saturday, and there wasn't much time to like go to anything before and still like get there on time. Just like the time that we wanted to get there. So we didn't go to any signings, but we went to the mall and the Superstore Sunday, and Big E was doing stuff there. So we like walked in front of where he was, and there was signings happening the whole weekend, but we didn't make it to any of those.
We are all a lover of the hip hop, and we're all a lover of the Griselda, right? How was the show? I mean, the Hills Have Eyes brand, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's genius on what they're doing with that. But tell us a little bit about that event, that concert.
The concert was cool. We got there, and shout out to my dad, Static Selecta, and DJ Muggs. They're the ones who got us where we were. The concert was good. It was more like a bunch of different acts than Griselda itself. Like Westside Gunn, he came out in the beginning and did a little set of his own. He did some unreleased stuff, and then he was kind of just curating the event and hosting for the rest of it. There was Benny the Butcher was a surprise guest, which was dope to see.
Yeah.
I met Swerve Strickland. He was there. That was cool. And we talked about his upcoming match at Wembley, and yeah, he was cool. And he I didn't know that he rapped.
Aiden, you probably didn't know that Swerve is actually a friend of the show.
Yeah, there we go. Friend of the show, Swerve.
Love that. He rapped, and I didn't know he did, and he was rapping like the whole time with the belt on, like the real TV belt.
Yeah.
And he was like, I shouldn't be doing this. He's like, this is a 30-pound belt. He's like, this is made for TV. But his entrance was cool. So like there was like an argument on stage, and someone pushed someone onto the ground, and he ran in and gave him a house call. And then his music hit. So that was cool too. But he was a cool dude. He was just chilling like the rest of us.
That's awesome.
Dope. I wonder how Trey the Truth felt. I'm the rapper that does that.
Muggs is one of my absolute favorites. That's really cool. Sounds like an amazing time. It was. Did they have a lot of Fourth Rope merch that they were selling?
Yeah, they had one shirt, and the show's called Heels Have Eyes. So when he does that event, it's like prominent heels in wrestling, and it's just their eyes.
That's dope. It's hard to get some of that stuff. I have a Road Warriors Fourth Rope sweater, black sweater, where their faces are kind of blurred out in a way. But even when you go on their sites, it's kind of difficult to get some of that stuff. So
their merch is hard to get, and it's weird. Like they like sized it up too big, so it was big. It was huge.
Yeah. The good thing is though, like it doesn't when it does shrink. I mean, I'm not going to talk shit about their merchandise. I'm just going to say it. But when it does shrink, it fits perfect for me.
Yeah. Might need to throw it in the dryer once or twice.
Yeah. Yep.
So going into the actual event, SummerSlam again happened over the weekend on Saturday. Before we jump into the actual match, the performances, was there anybody that you guys were super excited about? The match that you were like, this is the match. I know it's going to be good. This is the one I wanted to watch.
Match, I would say Braun Breaker. Yeah. He definitely, like, I just loved his trajectory, and then with the legacy, and so my dad grew up watching, his Steiner. So my dad was like, as based on legacy alone, he's my favorite wrestler right now. So we were hyped. We were hyped for that match.
And his family was there too. I think that was really cool that they showed.
That was
what
cool.
else? What other matches?
I was excited for the Gunther Priest match just because it was the most up in the air. And then of course the the Cody solo match, just because everyone kind of knew something was going to happen.
Yeah.
But the whole arena just didn't know what, and it was loud. It was loud there.
When it comes across crazy loud on your TV, you just know, like in the stadium, it's out of this world.
Yeah. One of my friends, I just kind of like started to like show him more into wrestling, and he was sending me one of the reels, and he was like, is it louder in person than on TV? He was like, and I was like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Deafening, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Close to 58,000.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of people. There were some people throwing shade at him. I mean, the AEW fans saying like, "Oh, they couldn't sell it out," but I'm like, there were still 58,000 people there. That's a lot of
Yeah.
people.
It looked sold out, and they had a good section blocked off. It would have been closer to 60 if they didn't have that area blocked off.
Yeah. Yeah, AEW fans always talking shit.
Always.
So, what did you guys think about the opening ceremonies with good old Jelly Roll?
We were walking in as it happened, so we were like finding our seats as he was performing, so we caught the end of it. But personally, I love what he does. It's just not my type of music.
Yeah,
But
same.
The crowd seemed to be into it. The crowd seemed to be into it when he came in the ring later on in the night. But
oh yeah,
cool.
And he actually delivered a pretty solid choke slam.
That choke slam was impressive.
I was like, that
choke slam was
actually
impressive.
looked like he had done something before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little trouble getting up, but hey, the slam was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The slam was nice. Who do we open with? Was it Liv and Rhea?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This was for the Women's World Championship. We knew that Rhea, this is the first time we've seen her in a singles match since coming back from her injury. Liv Morgan, we knew that she was going to bring everything. She had to bring everything she got. She's dealing with a woman that is super angry, a woman that you pushed up on her man, a woman that you're trying to destroy everything she built. Thoughts on this match, fellas?
I'll let you go first. Let me know what it was like there, and then I'll give you my thoughts on
it. Was loud. The show had just started off, so everyone was excited. It was a good match to start with. I think the ending was right. I think the whole match was good. Rhea's entrance pop was crazy. It's rare you get like a pop that loud, like for someone like she kind of just bloomed into being as over as she is. So for her to get to like being like a face of the women's division already, that was cool to see her pop. They're live. Dominic, he always has heat. So when he came out, everyone was booing him, and it just progressively got louder and louder as he took the chair. And then when he kissed her, the arena just exploded. The stadium, it erupted.
watching it. Well, first I went to go get sushi with my wife and my son. I was like, hey, we got to hurry this up. Okay. Especially when I found out what the first match was, I was like, we gotta go. So I get back, rewind it to get to the beginning. And yeah, it was so loud when she came out. And when we did our predictions last week, Dre, I said, Rhea's going to win. Like, she's too dominant not to, but I didn't see, and I'm so stupid, right? Sometimes you get sucked into these things. I didn't see Dom really turning on her. I didn't see that happening. So when that did happen, I was like, that piece of shit. Great match. So when she, her shoulder got popped out of place and it looked like she popped it back in, whatever she did there, that just added to it, right? That gives her a little weakness to make you believe that Liv can actually take it to her. And then the Dom thing, and we'll get into Raw a little bit too, but it was a really good match and a good change for Dom at the beginning of the show to just set off SummerSlam as a whole. It's really good.
Solid, man. Solid match between two solid athletes. You get to see Liv's strengths. You get to see Rhea's strengths. The selling from Rhea was on the DDTs was just amazing, right? She did a really good job, even down to seeing the love of her life, the man that she got tatted on her face, kiss another woman in front of her, and her to kind of like just crumble. She was just like, you could tell she was heartbroken. And then they'd be like, nah, I need to suck it up. I need to go. This ain't over. It's a long road for mommy. But I think right now, mommy Liv storyline, this Judgment Day storyline, and we'll talk about Damian here coming up shortly. We're in for a treat. Road to WrestleMania is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Even Survivor Series, I feel like there could be like 3 different War Games matches right now. Like they could get to that point. But Yeah, great match. Loved the ending to just keep the heat going between the two. The change, like you said, in Judgment Day that we'll get to. But yeah, good way to kick off SummerSlam for sure.
Fun. Then we jump into Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker. This is the one that Pop Out Aiden he was really hype about. Intercontinental Championship. This was the rematch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say, I was excited, and then the match was over in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
This was a very quick match. Yeah, and which is totally different from what you usually get from Sami. Like, no matter who he's wrestling, generally those matches, you know, you get 12, maybe to 18 minutes, but this was the quickest match on the card, and it kind of surprised me. I was thinking probably the Nia Bailey would be short, but this one was quick. And then I'm good with Braun winning. I like Braun Breaker quite a bit, and I felt like Sami with the belt, it really wasn't doing anything for him, and I don't think he was really elevating the belt either. I love Sami, but I think he's more of a storyline, you know, deep in a storyline type of person rather than just carrying a strap. So.
Yeah. I talked to someone in the airport about that just when we were waiting. Someone asked me like where Sami goes from here and like how I felt about him, and I feel like this underdog thing or like his whole gimmick, I feel like he's too big for the Intercontinental Championship, but he's not big enough to take down Gunther again or to go face Cody. So I feel like he's gonna be used like with Jay, and they'll push their way back into the bloodline. But
yep, I agree. I mean, we'll jump around a little bit here. On Raw, they were saying last night, Sami and Jay had that little interaction backstage, and Jay was saying, you know, you're going to get your IC title back, and then we're going to go get some unfinished business with the Judgment Day and get the tag titles back, which would be interesting for sure. But yeah, he's definitely, he does so well in storylines, no matter what it is. Like, even when they had the whole Jackass Sami Zayn Mania lead up, like, he was great with that. You know, his conspiracy theory Sami, the honorary Sami. Like, I feel like he can do much more without being tied to a championship.
Yeah, I agree.
I was waiting for them to say, Sammy, you feeling Uzi? I was waiting for it last night. Then it happened. Braun Breaker is a force to be reckoned with. Somebody talked to him. He got rid of the tan. He got rid of the horrible tan last night.
No more orange. He was prior. He looked like this.
Yeah, that was bad.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see what Braun Breaker can do. I feel like the man it's weird, man. Like, you don't want to see Sami lose. You don't want, that's our guy, right? He's the good guy. He's babyface. But then you got this guy that is supposed to be heel, but the people ain't allowing him to be heel. Like, the people love Braun Breaker, and he proves it with his in the ring work. Now, my question for you fellas is, who does come after him? Is it Dragunov? Who's coming for that IC title?
I don't think Dragunov can go for it. I feel like they're trying to protect him. That's what they did. Like, when he lost on Raw, he like hit the back of his head on the apron. They don't want to give out losses to someone like Dragunov, who will, you know, eventually be a world champion. So I could see him, you know, just working around the mid card, you know, just going on a dominant run. And then I don't even know who he loses it to. I feel like you're gonna have to wait for a storyline.
Right.
But I feel like they don't want to throw Dragunov in and have him lose, but you also need to make both of them look good.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think he's going to have kind of a Gunther-esque ride with the Intercontinental title, right? Like a reign, I should say, until you get to a real storyline where it makes sense to take it off of him. I would love to see something like, whoever wins through this, Sheamus, Pete Dunne, maybe they kind of step up to go against him, because I think those matches would be fun. But yeah, I don't know who he goes up against next. I really don't, because he's gonna wrestle Sami next week at Raw for the title again, and then after that, yeah, we'll just have to see where it goes. But they shot him up pretty quick, but he also deserves it too. Like, he's athletically, he's a freak. You know, you're like, your dad had said, he's all in because of the lineage. So it's like, it makes sense.
Aiden, did you see the Prime vehicle around town?
I didn't know.
It was a pretty cool little vehicle. I was like, hey, I wish LA Knight would have dropped it off at the crib. I would have took it. But Logan Paul and LA Knight did battle for the U.S. title. As we know, Logan Paul has held this title for is it just over a year?
Yeah, he's the third longest reigning champion.
And wrestled what, 5 times?
Three defenses.
Three, yeah.
Terrible.
Well, hopefully we see LA Knight defended a lot more than Logan Paul did, which I'm pretty sure he will. Let's backtrack to SmackDown. Leading up to SummerSlam, we have the big banner reveal inside. I don't know, was it where the Cavs play or something?
Yeah.
And he thought it's gonna be a grand banner, and what did it end up saying?
Yeah.
Great lead up to it, because you get this feeling, right? You get this feeling. Typically, if you have a hometown boy or hometown girl, you want them to win. We've seen it in Australia with Rhea Ripley. We see it anytime we have this kind of person inside their city. Ohio don't mess with them. The state of Ohio do not mess with Logan Paul.
Yeah. Then he brought out Machine Gun Kelly, and everyone was booing.
Yeah, what a weird connection. Like, I obviously know MGK's from that area, but it was like, so he's going to help out the heel, but I don't know. That was weird. That whole thing was weird.
Super weird. We get the reveal of MGK. Leading up to it, SmackDown. I had fun with SmackDown. I thought it was a cool way of the anticipation. SummerSlam happens. What was your guys' overall feeling of this match between LA Knight and Logan Paul?
I was happy with it, because even though I've talked about how I feel like LA Knight is a bit overrated as far as being over, I want the US title on TV more regularly so we can see it on TV. And with Paul, we might see it every now and then, but it was never up for grabs. So I think with LA Knight, it's going to help that title, because we're going to see it more often.
Yeah, I agree. He's really over, and he doesn't necessarily need the belt because of how over he is, kind of like the same way Jay is. But it's good to see someone like that, earn what they deserve, and that's why I like him a lot. He's great in the ring. He's great on the mic, and that's just what really brings you into a person like that.
Yeah.
There was a moment. There's a moment last night where Braun Breaker is having an interview backstage on Raw, and when he was talking about this belt, when he's talking about his name being on it and stuff like that, I was almost getting the feeling like, is Braun Breaker about to throw away the belt? It almost felt like he didn't really care at first, and it made me think, do belts even matter anymore? Do people care about belts, or do we care about the person and the matches that they give us, the feeling the moments they give us?
I feel like to be a good champion, it's a mix of both. Yeah. Because I feel like depending on the person, they can bring prestige to the belt, but also they need to stay like Logan Paul. Like Logan Paul is a mega star. Like he himself is. He's bigger than WWE. You could argue. And the belt, in that sense, like levitates it to where it's more like the social presence and the belt higher up. And then you put the belt on someone like Logan Paul, and it's like already big. That's what was the big thing like for me with Gunther losing to Sammy, was Gunther made this belt like prestigious, and that's his whole thing. Is I saw a stat, he's only ever lost 3 matches since coming into WWE.
Sheesh. That's crazy.
And one of which is at WrestleMania when he dropped the belt to Sammy. But someone like Gunther, like in King of the Ring too, he won every King of the Ring match a different way. So someone like that, he himself is up, but he brings that belt to the next level. And I think it's a mix of both. You kind of need someone's in-ring performance to bring the belt, but you need someone who's gonna defend and be over to have that belt.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you think about when the U.S. title was on old Mr. A-Town Down himself, who I think is a great wrestler. But at the time, it just wasn't like, obviously not where it is now with Logan having it all these for the last year. And I think LA Knight will elevate it even more just because of the way he's able to maneuver and talk. Like you had said, he gets over really well with his mic skills. And same with the IC title, man, before Gunther, that title, it was like this title used to mean so much, and not knocking like guys like Shinsuke and them, but it just didn't matter at the time. And then when
Yeah.
Gunther won it, and he elevated that thing so high. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I think titles do matter, but it also matters who has it and what they're doing with it and how they're moving it forward.
Like a good example of like, you can have a storyline elevate about, but John Cena, when he was United States champion and had the US Open challenge, that was a good way to bring dudes from NXT up.
Yep.
We were there when he lost it. He lost it to Alberto Del Rio, who returned. And that's like, that's a big thing. You do the open challenge and someone who's returning from a long time beats you. Yeah. Or you have these new guys who necessarily like aren't going to win, but it's good to see them go toe to toe with John Cena. And that's a good way of elevating a belt too.
They had KO come out, they had Sammy come out during that open challenge. That was a fun time for that belt.
Yeah. That was like right transitioning like into prime black and gold. Like that was a good time in NXT too.
Got the guys reminiscing.
Hey, my headphones are about to die. I'm gonna go grab some others. Keep going. We're gonna move to. I do have thoughts on Nia and Bayley though, so that's what we're on next. But just talk amongst yourselves, fellas.
I'm gonna hit the elevator music for Wonder. Bayley and Nia Jax. This honestly, we talked about this in our preview episode. I felt like Bayley has not elevated the women's title, the WWE women's title. I felt like this was kind of going to be the snooze fest, I guess you would say. Not to put no disrespect on her name, but I just feel like Bayley's kind of it's just been whatever, just like a filler. Hasn't really been the champion that I would want to see. You look at somebody like Liv Morgan, who holds a belt and elevates it and is engaged in the storyline. I didn't see that from Bayley. And Nia Jax being the queen of the ring and seeing what's going on with Tiffy, you can kind of see the writing on the wall that we might see some controversy between those two later on down the line. I felt Nia Jax was going to win this no matter what. But what was your thoughts on Bayley, Nia Jax?
I think like you said too, the match was good for what it was. I also think like back to prestigious with the belt, like certain people like Bayley, she doesn't need a championship. We know what Bayley can do. We know how Bayley is. And to me, that's kind of what it felt like with Damian Priest. But then Damian kind of like grew into the shoes of being like a main event star. And, I was like, okay, Damian Priest is champion, but Gunther's going to beat him. And then we got closer to SummerSlam and you grow to like them more. But Bayley's someone like, her stint with Damage Control, like the hugger, the heel, she's always good, but she's one of those people like Charlotte. You know what Charlotte Flair is going to give you, but she doesn't need a belt. And I felt like going into it, Nia was going to win too. I thought Tiffy was going to cash in, but we didn't see that quite yet.
That's 100% what I thought. And shout out to my 6-year-old son for his headphones because I couldn't find my other ones, and how these fit my head, I have no idea. But man, I thought this was my thought, Aiden, on this match. I thought, predicting it going in, I thought we were going to get Bayley winning and Tiffany cashing in was what I thought was going to happen. So I was actually surprised when Nia won and nothing happened. Like, I know we're going to further this storyline with her and Tiffany, but I just thought, all right, big stadium, SummerSlam, biggest show. We're getting Tiffany to cash in against Bayley at the very end after, Nia like hurts her or does whatever, right? At the end of the match. But how did the crowd react to this match when you were there live?
The crowd was definitely popped when Tiffy came out. That's when they were like the most hype, but the crowd was definitely like into it. You could tell, again, just more of like it was one of those matches where people didn't really care necessarily about the outcome, but more people knew Tiffy was going to get involved.
Got it. Okay.
But
yeah, it was hard to tell watching it because, like, I mean, the pop for Rhea was huge. Obviously, we'll get to Roman. That was huge. The Tiffy one, watching it live, you could hear it, but I couldn't tell, from an aspect of the match, anyways, how much people were into it.
honestly, even being there was hard to tell how many people were into it. I think the most hype people were going to get is, after any match when the championship changes hands, there's always going to be a pop.
Yeah.
So the crowd definitely popped when Nia won, but when Tiffy came out, that's when everyone was hyped. And I kind of had the feeling she wasn't going to cash in when they gave her like her own Money in the Bank briefcase. I feel like she kind of has to. But I do like that. I do like that when someone wins Money in the Bank and they like cater it to that person, kind of like Edge had it like that.
El Capitan.
I think Mr. Kennedy had one like that. So I think it's cool that like they're not just carrying around like a green briefcase. I like her, her purse style briefcase. But I think they'll wait for a big moment for Tiffy to pop. Maybe overseas because she's big at those overseas shows.
That's true.
There was I mentioned it. This is the match that I thought was going to be a snooze fest, but it ended up having one of the top 5 moments for me out of the whole weekend when Bayley powerbombed Nia Jax.
Holy
moly guacamole.
Yeah, I was worried we were going to get a Lyra 2.0 and just get her, you know what I'm saying, smashed into the canvas. But yeah, Bayley, dang. Pulled that off. That was great.
Them squats been working.
Yeah.
So this was a match that a lot of people were hyped about. But there were some things that was kind of confusing about the rules. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre with special guest referee Seth Rollins. We didn't really know what the rules were because Seth just kind of kept it up. He was like, "Yo, whatever I say goes."
Yeah.
Matter. Thoughts on this match, fellas?
I was most excited for this match, like because of the heat that had built up, and with these 3 being a part of it, Seth being the ref, I thought, man, that's going to be a fun wrinkle. But like you said, when we got the stipulation, non-stipulation of basically like you have to do what I say, which is like, yeah, it's kind of like what a ref's for, But the match itself was good. I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed Drew winning because, as you know, Dre, I am not a big CM Punk guy, right? And I was hoping we'll get to Raw again. I mean, we're probably going to go overtime for sure, but I was hoping this would end the Drew CM Punk feud. Like this match would end it. And then we would then go to Seth Punk, which is what like I think was originally scheduled. Like when watching that documentary, or I don't remember where it came out, but that was the original plan for WrestleMania. Was Seth Punk? That was going to be the match for Seth to have. But it looks like we're going to get more of Drew Punk after last night with the whole bracelet thing. Which whatever. Like I like both of them, but I just wanted it to move forward and Drew to maybe step up into a different feud or picture. But the match was great. Anytime CM Punk loses, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? And my guy Drew, I like him. I love Drew. So yeah, I'm with it.
I like the real life heat going into this feud. I like how Drew took it upon himself, like taking the picture with Jack Perry.
Oh my god!
To me, I was like, oh, that's what we're doing. I was like, that was cool to see because I like real stuff in the story. That's why the bracelet's so intriguing. I think they're gonna build like these 3 up until WrestleMania, and then that's when we'll get Punk and Seth. Because I feel like you can't do that at an event that's not WrestleMania. Because that's what they were intended on doing. But CM Punk, opposite of Will, is one of my favorites all time. My dad and I and my brother, we were there his last time on TV for WWE. So when Cult of Personality hit, there was definitely some emotion up in the air.
Oh yeah.
Some tears were shed. I won't lie to you. I won't lie.
Yeah.
The whole stadium was singing Cult of Personality too. So being there, that was dope. And he's just an icon in wrestling.
Legend has it.
Go ahead, Dre.
I was just gonna say, legend has it that they're still trying to scrape up Seth off the canvas from last night.
I can't wait to get into that too when we talk about that. But the one thing I've always said about Punk is WWE, whoever, I'm assuming him because he took it with him to AEW, but changing his entrance music from what it was before to when he came back during the Summer of Punk to Cult of Personality, the way that hits, it's one of the probably top 5 entrance songs I can think of in like
For
wrestling
sure.
history. So
For sure.
when it hits, you're like, oh shit. Like even at Survivor Series, when it happened, I was losing it and I was like, but I don't even like this guy, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. I'm
They definitely they had like a good weight too. Like from the moment Drew's music stopped and he was in the ring
yeah.
to leading up to when Cult of Personality hit.
Yeah.
But I think that song just like brings everything together with the character.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. No doubt.
And he had the pink gear on. He had his legendary pink gear on.
Yeah. Yep.
Looked really dope. So we jump into Damian Priest versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight title.
King Gunther, Dre. Address him as such. Thank you.
King
The ring
Gunther.
general.
Yes.
Yes. It's funny. Last night, wifey was like, "What the hell did he say? Ring general. Ring that." But this match right here, this was the one I was most excited about. Damian Priest for the last month, or maybe a little bit more, has been my favorite athlete on the roster. I feel like he's just bringing that New Yorker. He's bringing this next stage of who Damian Priest is. And going into this match, I was really excited about it because we know Gunther can bring it, right? But was Damian Priest gonna defend this title the way he needs to in order to beat him? Thoughts on this match, fellas?
Go ahead, Aiden. I'd love to hear what it was like there.
Gunther, honestly, like his music hit and everyone was like, semi cheering, but he's like an anti-heel, anti-hero. He's like he's so good in the ring and everyone likes him, and then he gets on the mic and he's like calling everyone trash, and he's like he's saying that he hates poor people, and you're like, and then you think about it, you're like, why am I cheering for this guy?
Yeah.
he's like saying how much he hates poor people and how everyone here and there street trash and you're like, this guy.
Yeah.
But Priest music hit and everyone stood up, everyone rose, and it was cool to see, because honestly when he cashed in, it was like, okay, what are you gonna do with this? And then he kind of and then he grew into it, and you can like poke a lot of fun at him, but he honestly came around. But for me, one of my I think my second favorite moment of the night was the Finn Balor turn, because Finn is one of my favorites.
Love Finn
all time, and I love him as the Demon. I love him in Bullet Club. I love him solo. I love him in a group. But just for him to do it how he did it, and the whole lead into it, he came out to help Damian, and I think it was on Raw. It was a year to the day when Damian came out to SummerSlam and cost Finn the belt.
Yep.
Which it's been almost 10 years. I think they need to give him a main event run. I don't know what they're doing with my boy Balor.
When he lost to Edge at Mania 2 years ago, and I was there, I was like, why? I get sending Edge away, but that's a side note. But I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah. And I think the whole sequence of Damian hitting him with his 2 finishing moves, and then Finn rolls in and he just turned around and had the look, and the arena was chanting F you Finn. The heel heat there was crazy. And then they played the replay on the big screen, and Damian looked around, and the pop Damian got when he got out of that first sleeper hold was I thought he was gonna win. I thought
it was over.
I thought it was like a Hulk Hogan moment where he just powered up.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, he's about to win. And then he got him back in the sleeper hold, and the match was over. But that was one of the best moments, was that Finn pop, because you knew it was coming, but it was a matter of how.
Yeah.
And I think they executed it perfectly.
And they even had the picture last night on Raw when Finn was doing his little promo. They showed that picture of Damian outside the ring, almost the same exact. I think it was pretty much the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, who knows what they planned a year ago? But to have that type of long-term storytelling is insanity. If that was actually this is what we're doing, this is how it's going to pay off. It's Jesus, that's a long time. That's great.
Yeah,
that's why they're number one.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the best things about current wrestling is the storytelling. If you go back to Liv and Rhea, or sorry, Liv and Oh yeah, Liv and Rhea. Like they were a tag team. They were a
Mhm.
tag team, and then they kind of like were butting heads, and then Rhea turned on her and then became champ, and it all came around.
Yep.
And like whether that's planned or not, like you think about it, and the thing that's like the most intriguing is every heel in wrestling right now can be justified.
Yeah.
Like why? Like Jimmy as a heel, you can justify it. Like he's always been seen as less than Jay,
Mhm.
and then Jay's like a star himself. And then like Finn, the cracks have been there for like a year now, which
Yeah.
is crazy. And I like how they're keeping Judgment Day around. I like
Me
that they're
too.
keeping them around.
Yep, and it's changing. And Finn had put up a post, staying in our kayfabe pledge, a post on his Instagram, I think it was, or somewhere, where it had a picture of the new Judgment Day, and it says "No leader, no ego." So it's just like they're just one big heel team, which is
I
dope.
like that.
Yeah.
And
Is that what's going to ruin this new Judgment Day though?
Well, we'll find out in a year, probably.
yeah. And I think what's cool about Judgment Day is like every time someone comes and takes the lead, they're the problem, and then
Yep.
they're kicked out. So like if you look at like Edge,
Oh, yeah.
Edge was the leader, and he didn't even want to be in the group. So then they kicked him out, and then it was kind of like, where's this gonna go? And then everyone gets elevated, and then the thing is like Rhea gets injured, so now the group really has no leader because she's out. So then that's when the egos really clash, and then Damien's the problem, and he gets kicked out. So now it's interesting to see them keep going.
Yep, I agree.
All right, let's move on. We're getting a little short on time, fellas. But I just wanted to point out, maybe it's a little premature, but that was my match of the night. Right there.
Loved it. Real quick, one thing I ask of WWE: can we get some better Gunther shirts? The shirt selection is awful. I got his face in red, and then just the champion, just the SummerSlam, that he won the belt, but they gave that to everyone who won a belt. So WWE, if you're listening, get a Gunther shirt I can buy, please. Thank you.
#1 merch selling. Psych.
Yeah. Well, they got to put out some good product. Shit.
I did see a stat that said that Jacob Fatu was the #1 seller on his debut. When the Samoan Werewolf shirts.
Oh, nice.
Luke, my man. All right. Our main event of the evening was Cody Rhodes defending his undisputed WWE title against Solo Sikoa in the Bloodlines rules match, which we seen at WrestleMania. There's always been rumblings of Roman. Is Roman coming back? Are we going to see Jimmy? Will we see Zilla? Zilla's in Ohio. What's going on?
He was in the crowd. Yeah.
Thoughts on this match?
Let me get out all my thoughts real quick, Aiden, and then I want to hear what you think, because I have a couple. The beginning where we had the longest walk to the ring ever by Cody, like it was dope with the dog. I was like, that's great. But then he runs into Arn, and I'm like, holy shit, it's Arn Anderson. And the way that Arn had been like kind of phrased it was like, hey, I've been weaving in and out of these locker rooms. You know that those guys are coming for you, but just know you have help. Some people, some you may not, or however he put it. And so in my head, I'm thinking, first thing that came to my head, like outside of, I knew Roman was coming back, knew that was happening. But I thought maybe we were getting like a Dustin Reynolds Gold Dust return. Because I'm like, hey, Arn was over there. Now is he here? Like, what does that mean? I don't want to say super let down, but I was let down that it was Randy and KO. I don't know, because we've seen it, right? Like, I get it. They're his boys. But also it was kind of like they haven't been gone long enough either. Like KO, he was injured, and they're like, oh, KO's back. How healthy is he? And it's kind of like, well, shit, man, he was here 2 weeks ago or however long ago it was. It's not like he's back. But I was really hoping for something else there. I thought the match was dope. I really need to understand if Jacob Fatu's really injured, because they had him in a walking boot, but they could have just been playing us, working us on that side, because they do that sometimes. I felt, and Dre, you had texted me this, and I thought the total opposite. You had said you thought Roman's entrance was perfect timing as far as within the match. I thought it was a very awkward moment. And I don't know if that's because Jacob was really hurt. He was supposed to, and Roman was supposed to come down and make the save. Or, with Jacob and Solo whooping on Cody, and then Roman comes down and makes save. There's a lot of speculation that they fake Jacob's injury so that him and Roman don't see each other quite yet.
Yeah.
But also, like, you get the Cody cutter. Cody makes the comeback. You get the Cody cutter, boom, and you're thinking, all right, He's got it. So then in my head, when I'm watching, all right, Roman's just going to come out after the match. But then they're both laying there, and then Roman's music hits. And I just thought it was weird. Like it doesn't matter. Roman's music could hit, when someone's making macaroni and cheese in the ring and people are going to lose their shit, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, why in that moment? Like, did something happen? And I'm sure we'll find out, down the road when they put out the SummerSlam documentary 6 months afterwards. But I loved the match itself. I was just let down with Randy and KO being the two people coming to help. Tongaloa, man.
He's garbage. He's garbage.
Is it the eye patch? Like when he went to throw Cody into that corner, I was like, oh,
he missed.
And then he hits the rope. How do you miss the corner? Listen, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not going to say I'm a better wrestler than Tongaloa. I've just been watching this shit for 35 years of my life. But it's like, what happened? And so that kind of was like, whoa. And then I don't know. Loved the actual match between Cody and Solo. I've always liked Solo. I feel like he stepped up in ring. He's doing well with. I think he can elevate it a little more with being like the new tribal chief. But it just felt like a disjointed match, right? Like certain aspects of the run-ins, and also why did the heels not get any music when they run in to tear shit up? But then it's like, here comes KO, so everyone knows. I understand it's for the pop, but like just do it. It'd be dope to have it both ways. Like Jacob Fatu, I would have loved to hear Bobby at SummerSlam. That's all I'm saying. So cool match. Need to figure out where this is going. Fatu really hurt. Disappointed with the run-ins. So anyways, sorry, that was a lot. But Aiden, what were your thoughts?
I think like you said it well, like Solo being elevated was cool. He kicked out of the Crossroads, the RKO, and the Stunner, and that was like, oh, that's what they're doing. I was like, they're making him look good. And that was kind of like my hope. I was hoping they would make him look good. I like Solo. I don't like him as the tribal chief because he's not my tribal. He's not my tribal chief.
Exactly.
Absolutely not. Tongaloa's gotta go. I think Triple H is like, thank God there's a million people in this family. Like, you would like you will be. I think once the storyline is replaced, like Tongaloa is gone. Tongaloa is gone. I watched an Instagram reel this morning. It was 3 minutes of Tongaloa botches since his debut.
Oh my God! And he's
you've been in the WWE for 3 months, and you botched that many times. You botched your debut. Like he missed his cue coming out from under the ring. And I love Michael Cole. I love Michael Cole on commentary, like always elevating him. He's like the infamous Tongaloa, and they throw that in before they say
we
his
don't
name.
See it. Yeah,
yeah. And it's hard to believe that this guy was like a 10-time New Japan Tag Team Champion, and this guy was a prominent part in the Bullet Club, and then you see him in WWE, and like, I didn't know this until recently, but he used to come out with a dude who was feuding with Sin Cara, like a Hispanic dude on a bike, and that used to be Tongaloa's gimmick. He used to be, which is also messed up under Vince's jurisdiction. He's Tongan, and they had him playing a Hispanic dude. That's messed up. Tongaloa's gotta go. I like Tama Tonga though. Tama Tonga's been cool. I hope they get like a Bullet Club reunion, because now they got the Good Brothers, they got AJ, they got Tama Tonga. They have all the original members in play. Yeah, that would kind of be cool to see them really come around. I hope Jacob's not really hurt. I really hope so.
They were shooting. I mean, he could reach such high levels, but it's just like, I couldn't tell because his leg did hit that table.
Yeah,
kind of awkwardly, but it was like
I saw a slow-mo. It didn't look like anything broke, but you never know. And I hope he didn't really like break anything, or if he is out, they can work around. But like you said, it will. I think it was awkward. I think they had to throw an audible, with the Roman entrance, but you never know. They might be working us, or they just don't want, Jacob and Roman to face off in the ring yet.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Friday.
Me too. Was everyone happy leaving the stadium? Like, did it seem like people were like, that's good?
Everyone threw up the ones. I have a crazy shot. Like when Roman's music hit, everyone was cheering the whole time, and the moment he walked through the stage, like the ones went up. I lost my voice. Dope. I was screaming the whole time. Everyone had the ones up, and that initial ooh ah before he hit the spear was crazy. It was crazy.
Was the music different?
Yeah, the intro was longer. It's the same theme from WrestleMania, but they just elongated the intro.
Oh, okay.
I tell you what, leaving WrestleMania 39 when Cody lost, it was a weird vibe. Like when that match ended and you knew, like, you were just thinking, all right, here comes Rocky, here comes something. And then Roman goes up the ramp and it was over. And people were like,
that's what happened.
What the hell?
Yeah. People were chanting, "We want Roman," like from the moment that Cody got into the ring up until the very end of the match. Like until he came out, people were chanting, "We want Roman." KO got a cool pop, but Randy's pop was crazy. Randy's pop was crazy. And to what you said, Will, my dad made a reference too. He was like, "We need Goldust to come out."
Yeah. It just made sense with Arn. Like when I saw Arn, I was like, holy shit, something different is going to happen, you know? And then I don't know. I mean, I love Randy, but it's just goddamn.
So where do we go from here? We got the tribal chief back. Are we gonna get more answers on which direction he's going? Who he's gonna bring with him? Are we gonna see Paul Heyman Friday? Like what do we see happening next?
Honestly, I think there's two parts to it. Like if Jacob's hurt, then this is where the curveball can be thrown in, where Tama Tonga's older brother, Hikuleo, he comes into play because he's signed to WWE. That's what a lot of the outlets are saying, and I think if they throw him in the mix, it just honestly depends like what they're leading to. Are they leading to Rock Roman in Vegas? What's going to happen at Survivor Series? I think it all just needs to play out. Yeah. And you can never tell with this story. But I think Roman is going to backtrack, and slowly but surely the pieces will, everything he needs will come back. Whether it's Jimmy, his wise man, Jay, whoever else gets involved, I think. But I don't think he's going to face them alone. I don't think he can. I think he's going to realize that Solo isn't the person he was when Roman left, and that these dudes that Solo brought in can hold their ground. And I hope we see that in the form of Tama Tonga and the infamous Tonga Loa, beating the Usos, or defending their new tag team championships and making it look good and kind of bringing that same feel that the other bloodline had. But I feel like you can't compare apples to oranges with the old bloodline and the new one. There's a vast difference of talent and of everything in both groups. But I feel like they both have their pros and cons. I feel like the best thing about the new bloodline is probably Tonga Loa. I feel like he really stands out the most. I just love Tonga Loa. I need a Tonga Loa shirt. I need a shirt of just his face with the eye patch.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me, if you ever watched Austin Powers, wasn't it number 2 who had the eye patch? That's all I see when I see him.
Yeah.
I need a shirt that's a grid of all of his botches. So it's just a still frame of all of his botches.
What should have happened? What happened? What should have happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we just got a new merch.
Drop.
New merch for there you go.
So
we'll call it the botch.
We need a new Gunther shirt, and we need an infamous Tonga Loa shirt.
What did you guys think about the original Tribal Chief shirt?
I thought it was cool. Yeah, it was cool. I'm one to when you first come, I know that they just sold the shit out of it, and they sold his belt, right? The belt that they made, they sold that in minutes. Yeah. But I'm also of the train of thought, come back, but then have the shirt. Have the shirt on SmackDown rather than here's the new shirt, buy it, product placement. Here's a Coke as well. And all this other shit.
But an eye patch.
Yeah. But no, it was cool. Yeah, I mean, it was fine.
All right.
I like this shirt. It was cool.
We are at an hour, but we had a great Raw last night, so I do want to talk about that a little bit. We talked before we jump there. We did talk about Bloodline 2.0, original Bloodline, but we failed to mention Cody. Cody is still holding on to this belt, and there's nobody in sight that I could think of. The person that I thought would go after Cody would be Randy, but Randy's already making it clear that he's going after
King Gunther.
Yeah. So what's next for Cody? What happens with the undisputed WWE title?
I thought it was going to be Jacob, but if he's hurt, it's not Jacob. So I don't know. I don't know.
Now it's difficult because do they leeway into Roman and Solo? I feel like the thing with Cody is like he got over. He's the most over. He's the face of WWE right now. But I feel like they don't know what to do with him until Rock comes back. And because Rock handed him something the Raw after Mania, and the Rock told him he's coming for his belt, and they had that awkward segment where he was like, "Let me hold your belt." Such a weird segment. And so I feel like they know that either Cody will either drop it to Roman again or beat Roman or face The Rock, but I feel like they could give Cody some good matches. There's a lot of people who could face him. I don't know who off the top of my head, but I feel like they don't know what to do with him right now. Like the feud with AJ was cool.
Paul. I feel like they've they've kind of just been throwing him in very short-term things until they get to this bloodline, bloodline 2.0, and then like you said, have The Rock come back. But I don't know on the SmackDown roster. I don't know when when Gunther won, I thought to myself, okay, well, it's either going to be Drew leaving the feud with Punk to go for that belt, or Randy's going to come back to get his lick from King of the Ring, because there was a whole controversy of Randy really didn't lose, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that made sense. Gunther, Randy. I'm hyped for it because I love both of those guys. The way they wrestle, the way they talk, just everything about them as professional wrestlers, I love. But as far as Cody goes, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I did mention that Cena is going to be going on his retirement run. Do we see Cena and Cody? It doesn't make sense to me, but it's Cena.
Do you guys think he needs one last belt to beat Flair's record?
Man, I always think about that. Like, why not just give it to him? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's two ends to it.
Yeah.
I hope his last match isn't like losing to put someone over, because like if you think about like Kurt Angle, his last match was against Baron Corbin. Yeah. And it's like you have to do something. You have to do something with Baron Corbin forever moving forward. Like he has that. So I feel like, if they do something, and Cena puts over, and maybe that guy just like is like Austin Theory, like they want him to go over, but he just never breaks that hump, because like even if you think of like Roman when Vince was in charge, like that was supposed to be the guy, but the crowd kind of has to embrace someone before they can get over. And I'm worried that, if Cena, loses to the wrong guy, that guy will never get over the hump, and it's like it's wasted. So I hope it's like it's one of those things where it's like Cena Orton, and it just closes everything. Yeah. And I just don't want it to be the wrong guy. If he loses to a guy like Braun Breaker or like Dragunov, like, someone who's like right there, but just could use that forever, I feel like they could, but
what if
there's a lot of factors. I don't think I could bring myself to watch wrestling.
I don't love that. Yeah. And also like, I think you have, if you do have him go against Cody, that's the one baby face that it's like, okay, that makes sense to do it. He's the champion. Let John have another run at it. They're both baby faces. That's cool. But if it's like, Braun Breaker, like we said, is supposed to be a heel. He's a baby, right? To have them two go against each other, I don't think makes sense. You can't turn John Cena heel, even though people have wanted that for years. You just can't do it now. It doesn't make sense now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know what they have in plans for John either. This is his retirement tour, so you need some wins, you need some losses. But I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Do you think he wins the Intercontinental Championship and finally is a world Grand Slam? There's a bunch of things, because he said he's coming back at the Rumble, Elimination Chamber.
Yeah,
I think it would be cool to see him like try to be like Super Cena, but he just like he can't keep up with the new guys. So like he makes it to the final four of the Rumble, and like he loses to the winner. He's in the Elimination Chamber and he's the top 3, and he just can't like and he thinks about like retiring now, and he has to have a reason to like keep going. And I would like to see him like, because what you can get with John Cena. No one, even when people booed him, like he is WWE.
Yeah.
Like you think of WWE, like you can see any logo and you'll think, John Cena. Everyone knows him. So for him to just like come back and, win the Rumble, and then that sets it up to be too predictable. I think you kind of have to make him go on this arc of like, you've been gone for so long. Like you got dudes like Braun Breaker who will tear you apart. You got dudes like Gunther, who you've never like really faced someone like Gunther. You've never faced
Gunther Cena. Ooh, that'd be
you've
tough.
never faced the Dragunov,
Yeah.
But then you can also rekindle old things. Maybe you get him and Brock. Maybe you get him and Randy. You need him and Punk. You need him and Rollins. But I think an arc of him, like he can't hang with this new generation of dudes, and then he finally like never give up, hustle, loyalty, and respect, and he goes back. He goes back and he finds a way to get over, because you can't throw him in and just have him be Super Cena. He needs a story for his last run.
Yep.
And I think with the whole struggling thing, then you could throw dudes who recognize that, like Carmelo Hayes, who have had segments with him, and they're like Trick Williams, guys like that, and they're like, you can't hang with us. Like, so then you got the new guys fighting Cena, and maybe that's where his losses come in, and maybe his big wins are dudes like like your Brock Lesnar's, your CM Punks, your Randys, but those losses are like him showing that he can't hang, and these are the guys to look out for. Is your Breaker, Dragunov, all of those guys. I feel like that's where they need to go, because they can't just throw them in. They're like go bury everyone. They can't give them the golden shovel anymore.
Yeah, so, no doubt.
I feel like that's the story they should go with. Is like he says he's coming back. Maybe he takes like a year off from filming a movie, and he's really around. And he's like the first time since 10 years since you're on every week of TV, and maybe that's the story too. Is he's fatigued. He can't he can't do this every week with these dudes who are every week coming to do stuff. And I feel like that's where you could go with him.
And then it flips on him how he treated Rock when Rock came back. I'm here every week. I'm putting in the work. You come back. Blah blah blah. Yeah, that'd be great.
And then dudes like Gunther are like, I fought more times in the last year than you have the last 10. Yeah. And it's like you can't hang with me. Or you got Carmelo, who's like, ever since you've been gone, like I was probably 15, and then now I'm the face of NXT. And and now like and then like dudes like Trick, who are gonna get called up soon. Or and then you kind of have him like, that's when he can go back, and he then he can hang with dudes who have been around, like Randy, like Punk,
Yep.
And then I feel like he needs that to be like, okay, I got to keep going. Like this is the last run. Like this is what I'm going for. And I think that's the best way, because Cena wants to put people over. Yeah. I mean,
that's what he did. That's what he's done the past couple of years.
That's what he's been doing, because he doesn't need to win. He doesn't need to win. But for the story to be that this is the last run and he wants to go all in, maybe he comes out like day one, or like one of the last Raws of before the year starts, and he's like, maybe he has some goals that he tells people, like, I'm going to break the record, or I'm finally going to win the Intercontinental Championship. So now people can see the whole year he needs to do that. He wants to, but he can't get there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best way to go with Cena.
WWE, hire Aiden, please. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly right. Okay, let's putting the cap on this episode. We do need to talk about Raw. Some things happen on Raw.
Yeah.
I have my own personal highlights. One of them being Bronson Reed inserting himself in this whole Rollins, CM Punk, McIntyre picture with 6 massive tsunamis, making Seth Rollins spit up blood.
Yeah. I love that. I love that Bronson Reed's going to be in like a main picture, right? My son, that's his name, Bronson. He loves seeing that dude on TV, even though they look totally different, but he likes to pretend he's him. Yeah, I was there all for it, because when they had the segment where he's like, sometimes he said something to the effect of like, well, I'm not going to sit around anymore. I'm going to take what I want. And
as he should.
when he came out there and did that, I was like, wow, okay. So now we're going to get Rollins, Bronson Reed, which is going to be anyone Rollins wrestles is generally a solid match. But I like Bronson Reed for this because he's a big dude, but crazy athletic at the same time. So I think it's going to be fun.
I agree.
I think it's fun. It's a good placeholder to keep him out of Punk and
exactly
keep him out of Punk and Drew, but also elevate someone, like Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
Nobody could have rolled him out of the way though. Like,
bro, man,
destroyed.
he was like Kendrick at the Pop Out concert, like played Not Like Us, and it was like, oh, that's cool. Played Not Like Us again. It was like, damn, okay, this is gonna. And then did it again. It was like, he's doing this 6 times.
The crowd one more time. Like, jeez, it killed this guy. All right, so excited about that. Obviously, we've seen for the first time Mommy and Priest since SummerSlam. We had Priest taking on JD Dunna.
McDonough.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
We call him Lord Falquaw in the house. The kids. Yeah, you got a big old head. But thoughts on Priest getting his revenge, and thoughts on we see the new Judgment Day.
Good match.
I think it's cool.
Good ending. I loved everything about it. Sorry to interrupt you, Aiden. My came in. I love the choke slam at the end on JD. Rhea and Priest being in this together against the new Judgment Day. I'm excited for the payoff whenever that happens. Again, it feels like I said at the beginning, we could be building to 3 or 4 different War Games matches just with the different factions that are going at each other. So I'm wondering if that's when it all, plays out, pays off, whatever. But I loved it. I'm excited for when we get Balor Priest though.
Me too. I hope we get it at Bad Blood, and I hope we see the Demon come back. And I hope we see the Demon like what it was in NXT or when he fought for the Universal Championship. Because I watched an interview recently with Balor, and he was asked about where the Demon is, and he said that the Demon only ever came out so much that when Vince was in charge, he wanted to push the Demon, and then there was matches like The Fiend where you bring out the Demon, but you get buried,
Yeah.
Or like Edge, you come out as the Demon and you lose to someone who's been wrestling for 20 plus years and is one of the most like legendary names. It's like, you don't need that. So he said, like, I feel like the Demon needs to be brought back in a sense like where it is an alter ego and it's not just Finn Balor and face paint. Like, like he comes out and like, the moveset's different, the music's different, like, and it's really something. Because what was so good about those early takeovers, like I mentioned in the air, all that time in the airport, I was watching those early Demon takeovers. He came out with the chainsaw. He came out as things, and I feel like that was a prominent part in his like end of New Japan and all of NXT was like, this guy is good, but when you face him here, like, you're in for a great match, and like,
and it's special too. He's just it's a monster. You know what I'm saying? It's he's so good in ring, and I'm with you. But I would love for that to happen too, for the Demon to come back.
It was 11 o'clock at night, and me and my family were screaming when Mommy got her hands on Liv Morgan. Oh, that was such a good feeling.
I think they're calling them the Terror Twins, or the Twins of Terror. Rhea and Damien. Yeah, I think they're called like the Terror Twins.
Okay, that's good.
I love it. And you know what? Leading up to these moments of SummerSlam and whatnot, I thought it would be opposite. I thought we were going to have a beef between Priest and Mommy. But I love this better. I love, what do you call them? The Terror Twins? I love that better. That
headbutt she delivered to JD, I mean, it was more like a chest butt, but it sounded like awful. Like it sounded like it really hurt. I want to touch on 2 things before we get to the Wyatts. I know we're going to run out of time, right? So 2 quick things. We don't have to discuss them long. One, when the hell did Damage Control become baby faces? I feel like I missed a segment, something weird or some shit. Like maybe it didn't make TV. I was like, why are they saving? I love Damage Control, but like, how did that happen? And 2, what was the other thing I want to touch? Odyssey Jones. Holy shit. But that storyline is now weird, isn't it? Like
It's weird. I don't know. Like, is Xavier going to turn on him?
yeah.
He was jealous.
And now it
Yeah.
doesn't. Now it looks like that's not going to happen. Like you get Odyssey in there, and now it's just like New Day is 3 again.
Is Odyssey a new member of the New Day? Are they back to being a trio?
Yeah.
I don't know
It
what's
felt
going to
like
happen.
he came out with the shirt and everything. Shirt didn't fit him, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that
big dude.
that pop he got when he held up both members of Authors of Pain.
Crazy.
That was a good pop.
Yeah.
He had them both held here. I was like, what?
That
had to been close to 700 pounds.
Oh,
Yeah.
easily. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really like the New Testament, honestly. I like in NXT, like Paul Ellering and the Authors of Pain, like they were dope.
Yeah.
And then like Karrion Kross NXT, dope. But then he's like in this group and he's just there. I feel like they're one of those like mid-card, undercard groups that like honestly, like I feel like they're jobbers, honestly.
Yeah. That's kind of what it feels like. I honestly, when we knew the Wyatts were coming back, the Wyatt family or whatever they were going to be calling it at the time, I thought they were going to be a part of it. Like, especially because he kept having these promos about time is running out, all the, Rabbit, all this shit. And I was like, okay, so that makes sense why they're this type of character now. It'll roll into that. But it didn't. They're just like another like somewhat paranormal cultish faction, kind of, but not really.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, because then like the whole thing was they were trying to like convert Xavier over or convert. It would be cool if like, Paul Ellering had a part in it and like they were like an older group, like where Paul Ellering is like running the group and like they're trying to get people in, but they're just there.
Yeah, it's just a filler.
Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah.
I want to see a solo run with Karrion Kross. That'd be great, but
yeah,
I think Final Testament, New Testament, whatever their name is, they could like thrive in NXT. I feel like that's a group that would be good in NXT. NXT is really good right now. I just wanted to throw that in there. The whole TNA thing, it has me watching Impact every week.
I need to watch it because I haven't faithfully watched NXT since Shinsuke was gone.
Yeah,
so that tells you how long it's been. Yeah.
There is a group. They were in TNA, and now they're like back with this merger. They're called the Rascals.
Oh yeah.
Or like they used to be in NXT MSK, and tonight they're re-challenging for the tag team championships. So I hope they win. I hope they win and take the NXT championships over to TNA. I just think that would be dope.
Okay, fellas, we're running out of time. Let's jump into Wyatt Sicks. We get the new name of this trio, the Creed brothers and Chad Gable, aka American Made.
Yeah.
What did the White Dudes for Harris think about this?
Let me tell you, as a member of White Dudes for Harris, no. I mean, I've been saying this all along. Like, I really, really wanted the Wyatts to be heels, or just maybe neither. Maybe they beat up baby faces, maybe they beat up heels. And it really threw off the Gable Otis storyline, the payoff that was one of the hottest stories we had. And I'm torn because obviously, Dre, I love the Wyatts. I love Bray. I love horror intertwining with wrestling. But I'm just wondering if that was the payoff last night, like building up to this. I don't know. The match was fine, right? We know that a lot of those guys can go. I loved the tribute that Rowan did. But I don't know, man. I feel like I want the Wyatts to be at an elevated level because Bray was so high. And it just felt like it interrupted the Otis Gable storyline. That's kind of weird now. It's kind of like a secondary, like who cares type of thing. And if anything, this helps the Creed brothers. I love the Creed brothers too. I think it gets them in constant storylines and you get to see them actually wrestle on the main roster. But I'm torn, and I didn't think I would be this way because I was so hyped over the Wyatts coming back. I don't know, man. What do you think?
I think for the Wyatts, it similar to Bray, you know what you're gonna get with this group. I love horror intertwined with wrestling. That was one of the shirts I got at SummerSlam. Was the Wyatt Sicks silhouette shirt. Yeah. I love that shirt. I love this group, and I think they also needed to take baby steps, because if they jump too much into, and that's what was good about last night, was the horror aspect is like you need to watch out for these dudes. It's not like, you know, these guys are like gonna come from the rafters and, you know, take you away.
Yeah.
But you do got to watch out for these dudes because but I like the realism behind, you know, involving, you know, Bray's passing and involving, you know, dudes who were there, but dudes who are like just new characters. And I think the baby steps need to be, you can't throw them into a main event picture because then if it goes wrong, you know, then, you know, then people are going to say, you know, you're only putting the belt on, you know, Bo or Howdy because his brother passed away. But I think the vision is, you know, really show the in-ring talent and the promo skills that all these dudes have and kind of build up to it to like, all right, these dudes are a real threat, but they've taken everyone at this level out. Now it's time to, you know, go there. And I don't want them to, you know, I don't want them to just throw everyone into the water. I feel like this is one of those stories where the payout will be big because everyone will slowly get more and more behind them as they see their talent and as they see that this isn't just, you know, using Bray's, you know, passing to elevate something else that like that's a part of it because that's a real thing that happened and it, you know, and how it affects these characters moving forward. But this is their own group. And I would like to see more of them just, you know, being dominant and really, you know, having good matches before they can get thrown in somewhere. Like, you know, everyone has to earn it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I just had in my notes, Dexter Lumis stood out. Dexter Lumis, I thought was the best wrestler in the ring out of the three that we've seen. Cool, guys. Well, let's put a cap on this episode, but let's get your wrestlers of the week. I will go first. I talked about him earlier. This man, I feel, is just keeps on elevating week after week. I'm gonna go with Damian Priest again.
Wow, 2 weeks in a row. Okay.
Twice in a row.
All right. Aiden, go ahead, man.
Okay, I'm gonna go Finn Balor, and then hoping for tonight, Rascals. I'm gonna go Wesley, Zachary Wentz. I hope they take those tag belts back. There was like they were tag champions for a while, and then they there was like a scandal that happened with Wesley's partner, Zachary Wentz. And so they had to like drop the belt, and then they put Wesley in this awkward spot where he was like on a singles run, but they never lost. And I like when they do that, you know, we had to relinquish it. Or like, but Zachary Wentz, it was one of those situations where, you know, Vince was in charge and he was written off forever. They didn't show him, and like their group is named like, so when they're together, they're MSK. When they're the three, they're the Rascals. So when they were MSK, like they were just written off forever. They were just written off forever.
Man, Vince writing someone off today sounds wild, don't it?
Yeah.
Yo, did you catch that, Wonder? Did you catch that? Aiden shook off a do you want a frozen burrito?
Oh, no. I'll take one.
A frozen burrito?
You guys caught me. You caught me.
Man,
yeah,
funny.
I'm gonna say Wesley because I'm praying they win tonight. Predictions. Okay. Praying they win.
Any week that he wrestles, I could just give it to Gunther because that's my guy. But I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna take a step back from my fandom, and I'm actually gonna give it to Bronson Reed because he's just been in like this. He's in a storyline, kinda, but not really. But he inserted himself into a storyline. He's gonna get Rollins, maybe at Clash or what is it? Bash in Berlin. Maybe Bad Blood. Who knows? But that's just only gonna help him, right? Because I think he is a really, really good wrestler. We've seen him in some decent mid-card matches, but this is like Seth Rollins is one of those dudes, one of the top, you know, you would say probably one of the top 3 to 4 wrestlers in WWE the past 10 years. So I'm excited for him. So this week I'll give it to him. But, you know, again, Gunther, any week he wrestles, he's the guy.
He needs a new T-shirt.
Yes.
I had a question for you too.
Yeah.
I know I can answer too. Just one wrestler, like a year from now, you're just looking forward to. Like we could come back to this episode a year from now, and someone you're like, wow, I'm glad they got over. Any promotion.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I go with my favorite wrestler, Ricochet. I would say Ricochet, but we don't even know what's going on with him. But honestly, like somebody that I've been watching and somebody that I'm excited about is Trick. I think Trick has the body. He could work the mic. I'm ready for him to hit main roster, and I think within the next year he'll be giving us some good matches, kind of like what Dragunov did and what Braun Breaker's been doing. So I would say about in a year, I think hopefully Trick is around.
I think for me, it's two, but they're a tag team. I would say the Creed brothers. And I think this helps them being with Gable, but I would love for a year from now, they're like one of the top tag teams because they do have great chemistry. They're kind of raw right now from a character perspective, but I think within the next year that gets figured out. And, you know, maybe even at Mania, they're wrestling for the tag titles. Who knows?
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say AEW wise, I would say Hook. He like I'm big on Hook. I don't know, something about him, just like that nonchalant character, but he'll like just like his in-ring ability is good. His contract's up soon, so I hope he, you know, maybe goes to NXT. I love what Ethan Page is doing. He's the NXT champion, but I would say Hook from AEW and Dragunov, or
yeah,
I love Dragunov.
Yeah,
I love Dragunov. Yeah, probably Dragunov.
I would love for him to be in that IC title picture come Mania.
Yeah,
that would be dope. Yeah.
I would like to see him, you know, beat Gunther for the belt. That was just one of the things I'm looking forward to is, and the storyline, you know, could be, you know, Dragunov beat Walter, but Dragunov hasn't faced Gunther.
Yeah.
I think that's where they need to go.
That'd be good.
So I would like to see Dragunov be a world champion.
Perfect, fellas. Well, let's put a cap on this episode. Almost an hour and a half with us. Aiden, where can people reach you and get your thoughts on more wrestling?
I just started streaming on Twitch, so that's 801 Aiden on Twitch. That's my handles on everything. But yeah, I just started streaming on Twitch. I just talk about stuff on there. I play games with my friends. We just have a good time. So that's been fun. I definitely want to do more wrestling oriented stuff. So thank you guys for having me on too.
Yeah. You're always welcome back. You know,
we're gonna do this more.
Yeah,
and we'll have an in studio session here soon too.
Yeah,
I'm down. Let's do it all. I'm free whenever. So
perfect.
Wonder.
Right now on X at DJ Will Wonder. I don't know what's going on with the bots on X, but like 2 a day are trying to follow me, and they're, you know, like these, like they look like, I mean, the most beautiful women on the planet, but they have no posts, and I'm like, what is happening on X? So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be there, because at some point I'm going to get something weird's going to happen, and I'm going to get hacked, and this shit's going to go south. But
what's my wife doing on your Twitter?
Hey, I didn't want to say anything. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, hopefully she stayed it through the whole episode. Instagram, March 15th media. There's something going on. I feel like there's a big announcement this week on there. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it at that. March 15th media on Instagram. But as of right now, that's where you will find me.
Perfect. At Dre Rocka, DRERAWKA. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I got some new unrestricted episodes coming up soon. And I'll be at a bar named Sue, 8136 South State Street on the 17th for UFC 304. Aiden, real quick, who you got?
You already know that's my go, Izzy. That's my personal go. Let's go.
Duplessis, I'm very nervous about it, but you know, hey, I'm excited about it.
Duplessis, he's the real African. That's what he goes by. That's what he goes by.
It's hilarious. So if you are 21 and up, come on out. A bar named Sue, 8136 South State Street. Allrock.com if you want to get some merch. This is gonna have a home, I promise you. I'm still healing up from Braun Breaker breaking my back, so pause. So
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
That's coming up. But we do appreciate you for listening. Drop a comment. Follow us on Instagram at Figure4 Podcast on Instagram and Twitter and possibly TikTok soon. Maybe. We appreciate you.
I got on TikTok. It's a mess over there.
It is. It's horrible. We out. Peace.